I told myself it was just pre-wedding stress, that they'd include me when it mattered. I was wrong. A day before what I thought was the wedding, I walked into the kitchen, smiled at Deborah, and said, "I can't wait for the wedding tomorrow." And that's when she laughed. Not a nervous chuckle, not a guilty giggle, a full-blown amused chuckle, as if I had just told the funniest joke she'd ever heard. "What?" she said, still smiling. "The wedding happened yesterday." That moment, that exact moment, split my life into two parts. Before that moment, I was Malcolm, the devoted husband and father, the provider, the man who did everything for his family. After that moment, I became something else. Because standing there in my own kitchen, staring at my wife's smug expression, I felt something inside me snap. Not in rage, not in heartbreak, but in cold, quiet realization. They had never planned to invite me. This wasn't some scheduling mistake. They had deliberately left me out. I turned to Sophia, waiting for her to correct her mother. She didn't. Instead, she hesitated, then picked up her phone, tapped the screen a few times, and held it up for me to see. There they were, all of them. Deborah, Sophia, Tyler, the in-laws, my siblings, my nieces and nephews. Smiling, laughing, celebrating, at a wedding I paid for. Without me. My heart pounded in my chest, but my face remained calm. I looked at my wife, the woman I had spent more than 30 years of my life with, the woman I had built a home for, sacrificed for, loved unconditionally. She shrugged, a casual, dismissive shrug, like I was some distant acquaintance they had forgotten to call. "Yes, I forgot to tell you," she said. She said it like it was nothing, like I was nothing. That was the moment I knew. They didn't just take me for granted. They didn't just see me as the wallet, the provider, the necessary burden in their perfect little lives. They saw me as irrelevant. I set my coffee mug down on the counter, carefully. Without a word, without a reaction. Deborah raised an eyebrow, waiting for me to explode, to yell, to demand an explanation. Sophia shifted uncomfortably, sensing that I wasn't reacting the way she expected. I didn't give them the satisfaction. I turned around, walked to the hallway, grabbed my coat from the rack, and stepped outside into the cold air. No yelling, no questioning, no begging to be included. Because in that moment, I realized something they had failed to consider. I had spent my whole life taking care of them. But they had never once considered what would happen if I decided to stop. I pulled out my phone, scrolled through my messages. No missed calls, no texts. I wasn't an afterthought. I wasn't a thought at all. I took a deep breath, exhaled slowly, and whispered to myself, "Let's see how much they laugh when I walk away for good." Because that's exactly what I was about to do. And they were about to regret every second of it. I stood outside my own house, the cold air biting at my skin, but it was nothing compared to the chill that had settled deep inside me. I should have been angry, furious, heartbroken, but I felt none of those things. Instead, I felt empty. It wasn't just the betrayal. It was the realization that I had spent my entire life believing in an illusion. An illusion of love, family, loyalty. I had built my world around them, sacrificed for them, trusted them, only to find out I was never truly part of theirs. They hadn't forgotten me. They had excluded me. On purpose. And that fact settled in my bones like an unbearable weight, heavier than any exhaustion I had ever felt before.
Now comment update to tag you on part 2.